Well, it is Sunday Night Live, and we are having material issues. From time to time, it happens, but my gosh, happy Father's Day, everybody. Material Issues, episode number 261. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. I'm saying hello to my daughters in Orlando. Thank you for wishing me a happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. And I know David's not a father, but he has a father, and we all think of our fathers in this day. But from the West Coast, the best coast, some people say, Southern California, the president of the International Pop Overthrow Music Festival, Mr. David Bling Bash. How you doing, David?
That's right. I don't have my I forgot to put my peace sign on.
We might as well restart the show again.
I know, really. No, I'm doing fine. It's great to be home. The last episode we did, I was in Inverness, Scotland, which was wonderful, I should say. It's become one of my favorite places. I mean, if I could retire, I would retire there. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Hey, Tim.
I'm happy. I don't know if you have kids, Tim, and I don't, but happy Father's Day to you. Unfortunately, I did lose my dad earlier this year, but I did post on Facebook a bit of a tribute to him. So, but yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody out there who is a father or has one.
And we all should have one. I mean,
it would be nice if we all had one for our entire lives, but we know evolution doesn't work that way. But yeah, it's really good to be home. This weekend was a busy one for IPO because we were working on stacking the International Pop Overthrow compilation.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun doing that. Right now we have 67 tracks with a possibility of a late one. So we actually have more room than we did last year. Last year we could only fit 66. And mostly some people think, well, that must mean you had a lot of long tracks. No, not really. What happens is it's between 3 and 4 minutes. If it averages around 3, if the tracks between 3 and 4 average around 320, we're golden. If they average around 340, then we're going to not have as much room, obviously. And that's what it was last year. But this year they're averaging in the lower threes. And, they're always longer ones than 4 minutes and always shorter ones than 3 minutes. And we had the normal amount of those. But basically, the bottom line is we were able to fit 67 tracks comfortably. And a 68th one will fit also comfortably if we get it in time. But we have to have this done tonight. Tomorrow, I hand off the tracks to Alan Brownstein, our mastering person. I don't think I'll hand them off physically. I'll probably just transfer them over.
Right.
But when the mastering's done, he and I always meet and we discuss the tracks, and we always pick our favorites and he picks his favorite. Well, that was redundant. We pick our favorites and our least favorites, and I'm not going to mention what any of them are. I think I know what mine are now, but I'm not going to say. But yeah, it's a very good comp, and like always, I really look forward to when it comes out. Now it will be available at opening night of IPOLA, which is August 7th, and then we'll be giving them out to people who attend that event, and probably to people who attend IPO San Diego. If we have any left, we'll give them out at IPO San Diego a couple of weeks later, or a week later, than after IPO ends. And we might even bring up a few to Vancouver, but we'll see. And then in September, I think mid-September, actually, I think September 11th is actually going to be the release date from Omnivore when it becomes available. It'll be available to pre-order before that. And once they get the track listing and the cover art, they can then put it up for pre-order, and they'll have that in a couple of weeks. And then we will then they will release it, and it'll be distributed in stores and Amazon and stuff like that. So that'll be good. What else is
and
going on?
just so everybody knows, we were having some material issues, is why we got a late start. And we're still unsure if our guest tonight, and it's not a surprise, we've posted about it, but Gary Klebe of SHOES is supposed to be our guest tonight. We've been in constant contact with him, but he was having a computer issue. We're hoping the complete reboot will help. If he pops up in our green room, so to speak, he will be our guest. If not, we will reschedule him.
If not, it'll be Too Late.
Yeah,
which is one of his,
Too Late.
Which is one of his greatest songs with SHOES.
Yeah.
But it won't be too late to reschedule him. And I'm sure by that time he'll get this situation sorted. It happens, sometimes, especially if it's somebody we think maybe isn't that savvy with a computer, we'll do a pre-test the day before or a few days before. We probably should have done this here, but we didn't, and now it may turn out that he can't solve the issues, but I'm hoping he will. In the meantime, we'll just continue to talk. My 50th high school reunion is coming up on August 1st, and I've yet been to any reunion, but I figured this one I can't miss. It's a landmark reunion. I know certain people who are going to be there. Some I've seen fairly recently, others I haven't seen since high school. The next one would probably be the 60th, and God only knows who's going to be around for that one. So
thank you, Tim.
I was thinking about that, but since I knew he couldn't, I wasn't going to say it.
Well, David, in high school, how did you dress?
For a while I dressed, like any other high school slob, but then I decided that I really liked some nice clothes, and for a while I was dressing in very loud shirts, like not look quite like this one, but the ones that were around at the time in the mid 70s. And I had these patent leather shoes that were really shiny, and people would say, "Hey, Bash, Starman." They say, "Hey, Bash, you need to get up, find a socket for that shirt."
So your high school classmates will not be surprised if you show up in the bright paisleys and the bling.
There'll probably be a couple that wouldn't be surprised. I mean, honestly, I'm one. This is one thing that you wonder, especially after 50 years since graduation. How many are even going to remember me? I mean, what was your
graduating class number?
Sorry?
How many in your graduating class?
There were 504, and I'm hoping that even 100 will make it to this. I kind of doubt it. A lot of people moved away. They don't want to spend the money to come back. Some of them are, as Casey Stengel would say, dead at the present time. And some of them probably, they may not be in good enough health.
Yeah.
I know the Facebook event is not showing a whole lot of interest. We're hoping
nostalgia is not very nostalgic anymore.
High school reunions, especially a 50th. That
you would think
it's usually a big one. And the 40th, which I almost went to and decided I don't want to spend the money, was pretty. I mean, there were at least 100 people at that one. So I'm hoping, even if we get 50 to 75, that would not be bad. I know, like I said, I know certain friends will be there. I know certain people I haven't seen for a while.
Yeah.
But other than my friends, I don't even know if people will remember me. So it'll be interesting to find out.
Now,
but I do plan on wearing this exact shirt to the reunion.
Oh, nice. When's the reunion?
August 1st.
Oh, so you could actually take a bunch of IPO CDs and hand it out saying, "Here's my calling
we
card."
Won't have the new ones yet, I don't think.
Oh, okay, all right.
I can still handle. I will actually bring some and hand out volume 26 to people.
Yeah. See, your graduating class was a pretty big class. My graduating class was like 142.
Really?
So not only did you know everybody, but I went to. I think I've gone to maybe 2 reunions, like the 30th and maybe the 40th, but 25 actual classmates showed up with their wives. I made like 50 people, and it just wasn't. Nobody really cared. But what?
Joel quoting the song of one of our guests, Beverly Breamers, who we had on a few months ago.
So I don't know. My 50th will be 4 years down the road here, 3 years down the road. I would go. I just don't think that many people would go.
Well, fortunately, you're close enough to where
I don't have to go.
It'll just be a drive for you.
Right.
You might stay in a hotel overnight, but you probably don't even have to if you don't want to.
I wouldn't have to. No.
But I have to pay for flights. I have to pay for hotel and a rental car. Right. So it's going to cost me. It's going to cost Rena and I close to $2,000 to do this.
Right.
So, but I do want to bring her, and she does want to go. So it's going to be a very interesting experience. I think a lot of people who do remember me are going to be very surprised at what I'm doing, and I think they'll be pretty impressed also. So I never had anything impressive to show when I was in high school.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Well, she didn't say that because I never had the opportunity in high school.
Finally got one in.
I could. That's what she said. I in high school, and this is literal. I don't think I spoke to more than 10 girls. Spoke to even, let alone went out with or socialized with. I never went to any high school events.
Is that true, Joel? Joel, is he telling the truth?
He was only there when I was a senior, but I'm sure he would corroborate that. No, I was very shy. I was picked on a lot. I certainly didn't want to go to a high school event and have people pick on me in a huge crowd, which probably would have happened. I didn't like most of the people there, and they didn't like me for whatever reason. I was everyone who did know me said, Bash is a nice guy. What's the problem? But I was too weird, I guess, and they didn't, and I'm still weird.
Did you get a high school yearbook and have it signed by anybody?
I did, and I was made fun of by one of my friends for not having any girls sign my yearbook. I didn't know who to ask. Like, who would have even cared? That's how pathetic my social life was. I did have some male friends, but they were all geeks also.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You saw Dazed and Confused, right?
Oh yeah, great movie.
I think he's here. Okay, great.
Hey Gary, we see you. We'll get you there in 1 second.
We're just going to talk a few more minutes about this, but there was, if you remember in Dazed and Confused, Randall Floyd, the football player,
right,
was somebody who associated well with both the geeks and the cool kids. We had a guy like that too, Jimmy O'Neill. He was a star football player, had a beautiful girlfriend. He had everything. But unlike most of the other people at his level, he was fine. He'd come over to the nerd table, he'd hang out. He was a good guy. I'm hoping
nerd table.
Well, yeah. It was.
Yeah.
At lunch or study hall or whatever, he would come by and hang out with us. None of the other cool kids did that. I'm hoping Jimmy O'Neill is there because, where'd he go? Not Jimmy, but Gary.
Yeah, Gary was in and out. Hopefully he'll be back, yeah.
Hopefully he'll be back, but it looks like he got it working. Anyhow, so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing who will be there and hopefully have a good experience. And also, Rena and I we'll take a trip up to where I was raised in Poughkeepsie, New York, and up to Bard College where she graduated. So we'll make a trip out of it. We'll probably leave the Thursday night, take a red eye the Thursday night. The reunion is Saturday night.
Yeah.
And the Yankees are playing on Monday against the Cardinals. So we're going to get tickets to that and then go home on
cool.
Tuesday morning. So,
hey, David, why don't you drop Gary a quick text saying you were here, come on back in, do what you did, and we'll get you up soon. He might have forgot that if he's not with us right away, maybe he thought it wasn't working.
Oh,
so
let me tell him. Hold on.
In the meantime, everybody, I'm excited about tomorrow night. I'm going to Philadelphia to see Delamitri. There is what I'm going to assume that it could be the last Delamitri tour of the U.S. as you know Justin's been battling Parkinson's, and so I definitely wanted to get on the get in there tomorrow night and see them. I took my daughter Hannah 3 years ago, I think, if Hannah's watching, to see them in Philly at World Cafe Live. Such a great show. And it says Gary entered the studio. Okay, good.
No, it looks like he's back.
He's trying to get back. But yeah, looking forward to seeing Delamitri tomorrow. I think it might be their last U.S. show or second to last U.S. show on the short
nice Scottish band.
Love Delamitri.
I certainly saw several of their records when we were in Glasgow.
Yeah, I know a former guest of ours, Al Chan of the Rubinoos, is a huge Delamitri Justin Terry fan. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a great night. While Gary's still trying to allow his camera down there, David, I got to ask you.
We did see him, and if he's in the studio, he should be able to hear us. So next time we see him, we'll just say we'll do an Andy Williams with Stevie Wonder. Gary, can you hear me? Well, if you can't hear me, can you see me?
He's back.
Here. Gary, can you hear us? Just nod yes or no. Can you hear us? No pun intended. Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hang out, Gary. We'll be with you one second.
Just hang on. We're gonna bring you up. We're gonna do a little intro for you and bring you up. Oh, there he's back. Okay, he's moving around. But
that was me. I got rid of the other.
Oh, you got rid of the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna talk about some releases, some stuff that I bought overseas, but we'll wait until after the interview's done.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've been really looking forward to having this guest on. One of the main men of the band Shoes, who are one of my all-time. They're in my top 5. Oops, where'd he go?
I don't know. Every time I see him reach with his finger like that, there he goes.
Is he back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't do anything, Gary. Just stay there. Anyway, Shoes is one of my all-time favorite bands. I'm not just power pop, but anything. Behind the Beach Boys, the Beatles, and the Monkees stands Shoes. They had a long and wonderful career, releasing several amazing albums, some on major labels. They were on Elektra for 3 of them, and then, they kind of called it a day and in the early 90s, and then reunited for the album Ignition back in 2012, I believe. And then, that album got some really good press, but that was it for a while. Oh, boy, here he's gone again. What is going on?
Well,
folks, sorry for this. And
he's back.
You know what? Let's leave well enough alone. We'll talk more about the other stuff when we bring him on. But I'll just say this: he's got this brand new album, Out Loud, came out a few weeks ago. It's really good, and we'll talk about it and play some tracks. So, would you please give a huge Material Issues welcome to Gary Klebe?
There he is.
There he is. You all good?
No, it's gonna crap out again. I have no control over that.
What's going on?
What's going on with this?
It just loses connection.
Yeah.
This is after my desktop that didn't work, so I abandoned that and went to my pad.
Are you close to your? Oh, there you go. See, it's the connection. He might not be close up to his router and strong enough Wi-Fi. That could be causing a problem.
Let's bring him back on and see if that's the issue.
Yeah.
We're sorry, folks. We're really.
Well, that's why we call this thing Material Issues, sort of.
Just remember, we're not professionals. But,
that's right. We only play professionals on TV.
That's right. But because of this, it allows us the freedom to basically do whatever the hell we want. So there, as Ed Norton would say, there are good perns and bad perns to that. Now, one of the bad parents is rearing its ugly head, unfortunately.
Hey, a customer last night at the bar asked me, Joel, asked me if I knew what profession Ed Norton had on the Honeymooners.
Really, that's an easy one.
Oh, I thought it was an easy one, but they couldn't remember.
It wasn't a trivia thing. He really just asked you?
They were. I don't know why he was in a conversation with somebody about the Honeymooner. Oh, it was an older guy talking to a younger couple next to him saying, well, you never saw the Honeymooners? What? And how great it is. And he was on and on and on. And then he was like, when Jackie Gleason played, and he was a bus driver, and they was like, and Ed Norton was, and he froze, and he couldn't remember what Ed Norton did for a living.
I bive a dress. I dress a bive. That was him when he was nervous on the $99,000 answer.
Right.
And the host asked him what he did for a living. One of the things that was remarkable about Jackie Gleason is he never rehearsed. He had a photographic memory, and if he forgot a line, which happened every now and then, that's another Shoes song. Yes or no, now and then, tomorrow
all
night, too late. It's all over. Is he back?
He's trying. Here we go. Well, wait, he's upside down.
Let's try and.
Gary, back.
Are you close to? Are you far away from your router? Hello.
Yes.
Are you close to your router?
1 second. Get one more set. I had to change devices again. Sorry.
I'll tell you what. The audio is really
close
clear.
to your router as possible, because right now you're frozen.
But his audio is great.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like to. Okay. Are you close to your router? Oh boy.
I think he's frozen.
Wow.
We're
trying here.
Yeah, it is what it is. Anyhow, Honeymoon's funny, but
so Gleason would, he would signal to the to the other actors when he forgot a line, and sometimes they would fill in, or they would give him leeway to an underwater sanitation engineer.
That's right.
That he was.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to ask you though, David, and this, I verified it. I saw about it online the other day, but soccer has taken over the number 3 popularity from Major League Baseball. Baseball has down to number 4.
Is that just something happening during the World Cup? Or?
No, this was pre-World Cup, and now they're talking. Soccer may threaten NBA basketball as the number 2 overall.
That is bizarre, actually. Yeah. I mean, I'm not unhappy to hear about that. I think soccer's, or as they call it in Europe, football. And to be honest, it's way more football than American football. I mean, when is American football? When the kicker kicks off, and when they punt, and when they go for an extra point. Three times, to quote Shoes. Oh my God, this is awesome.
All night long it's going to happen.
Well, if we can't have a shoe on our show, we'll just quote them. But yeah, I mean, only 3 times, and during the game, is it actually football? Otherwise, they're holding it or they're throwing it.
Yeah,
running. So it's really weird that we ever called it football. I know back in the day, there were a lot more kickoffs and a lot more. There were a lot more kickoffs because there were. Because there wasn't as much scoring as there is now. So, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I'm sure we could. Any of us could go online and find out why it was called football. But yeah, I was. Soccer is way more football. I'm shocked.
Yeah,
I mean, during the World Cup, I get it, but if it's like that all
the time, yeah. And here's what really amazed me. Not to go off on a different tangent until Gary gets back on here.
I don't know if he's going.
I know the NFL is still number 1 in popularity, but they've changed the rules so much in the NFL in order to make it more exciting, more scoring, more scoring, more scoring, more exciting. They changed the rules of the NBA. They don't call traveling. They don't call. You can't play.
They haven't forever.
Why? More scoring. Make it more exciting. More scoring. They changed the rules of Major League Baseball to make more what? Scoring, more action, more activity, make it more exciting.
Sure.
And then the sport that's taking over everything has like more excitement in a 0-0 game with 0 scoring. And they think it's incredibly exciting, you know?
Well, I think this is my guess. No, you don't know what Joel did here. Your Very Eyes is another Shoes track.
Shoes song, yes. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Which Jeffrey Foskett covered very well. R.I.P. Jeffrey. But I think what's happening, and again, I could be wrong. I think people are riffing off the excitement of the crowd, because you won't see a more excited crowd than a soccer crowd.
Right.
All it takes is.
Wait, let me just say, a more exciting crowd is an international crowd. They're more exciting internationally than like our local soccer, like the Philadelphia Union.
Right.
They don't go as crazy in U.S. soccer stadiums as the overseas.
Wait, you're talking. So what you're talking about here is worldwide soccer.
Well, just soccer in general, yes, in the U.S. But
I gotta think it's more what they're watching. Is this based upon hours watching it?
I don't know what they're basing it on, but they just said soccer has taken over as higher in popularity than Major League Baseball, number 3 spot. Now, it probably is television, viewing audiences, maybe ticket sales. I don't know, because all these Major League soccer.
I find it hard to believe that U.S. soccer would be generating this kind of excitement, but I could be wrong.
The Philadelphia Union here sells out all the time at Eastside Stadium, and they're all over. Every major city has a major
I guess the U.S. has finally embraced it. The one thing I haven't watched soccer lately, but one thing I noticed. All right, I'll say this, and this may not be an accurate representation, but when we watched the Liverpool AC Milan game at the Cavern in between bands, and this is about 15 years ago. I noticed that the people who were there, and granted, they're probably not the hugest soccer fans, but these were people who were there to watch the game. There was no analysis going on, like any other sport. Something else to bet. Well, okay, maybe. Yeah. But that doesn't explain why it's ahead of those games in popularity. But anyway, nobody analyzed anything. Not once did somebody say, well, their forward, how about setting up in this position? Or their forward should be doing that, or they should be staying back, or this guy should be playing more, or nothing. It was just when Liverpool got closer to AC Milan's goal, then you heard a bunch of cheering and you heard, come on, Liverpool. And when they were on the other end of the field, you didn't hear as much. People were still attentive, but, they were, unless AC Milan was threatening to score.
Right. Yeah.
Well, AC Milan did end up winning that game. And
one of my favorite memories, the first IPO, I came over to Liverpool. Bruce Brodeen came over, and Bruce and I went up to Anfield and then saw Liverpool versus Everton. And we got
that must have been interesting.
Well, we went up the day before to see if we could get tickets, because we heard it was possibly sold out. But if we went up to the ticket window, maybe there'd be some. And it was sold out, and we couldn't get tickets. So we just thought, well, let's walk around the stadium, and while we're here, look at it. Side door was open, one of these little side doors of maintenance probably, and we kind of peeked our heads in to see what we could see, and somebody walked up to us and says, can I help you? I said, hey, we're Americans. We can't get tickets. The game's sold out. And he said, well, come on in.
Wow.
He took us in, and we went right down to the pitch, and we got to stand on the field with an empty stadium. And all of a sudden his daughter shows up, and she's in charge of all the concessions, right, at the place. And she gave us 2 tickets.
Oh my God.
And gave us a pass to get anything we wanted to eat and drink at the concession things.
Wow.
Right. So we go the next day, we take the bus out, and we're up in the Liverpool section, right in the middle of everything. They're over the Everton section, and these Liverpool fans were actually urinating over the top on the Everton fans. And then we met so many people that they all asked us to go back to this local pub like a block away, and bought us so many drinks that we were
Wow.
drink blind, and we had such a great time. I still have pictures of that day. But what a great
people in the UK are like that.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned on last week's episode how Rena and I went to the Last Night from Glasgow label/store, and because I bought a few expensive things, the woman who was running the shop just gave Rena like 7 of label CDs she was ready to pay for, and gave me a label LP and a couple of CDs as well. I mean, you'd never see anybody except maybe Pop Detective do something like that.
Yeah.
In the US, but or Jam. I mean, Jeremy might do something like that.
Jeremy,
but that's generally not something anyone in the US would do. But you got people in the UK, and you hear that they're not crazy about Americans. Well, if Americans show support for anything they're doing, they love it.
Sure. Yeah.
And I had been talking. I think a lot of it was a conversation that I had with the lady who ran it. My enthusiasm about the label, about buying the test pressings, all that kind of stuff. I think she was like, "Wow, somebody from the U.S. loves us that much," So yeah,
that's cool. But yeah, great stuff. Great. Yeah, really great time out there. And you know what? I got to also know the guy that did the some PA announcing at Anfield, which is Everton Stadium, but he also in charge of playing music throughout timeouts and things. And for a number of years, I gave him the Deadbeat Poets debut album. He was playing No Island Like the Mine, No Ship Like Sea, like at Anfield. That got played a lot, and we sold a lot of CDs.
Wow.
To the UK because of that. The guy fell in love with the track and played it all the time. But I have for anybody watching this now or on the archives, we talk a lot about some of our favorite Scandinavian bands, Norwegian bands, Swedish bands, and of course one of my all-time favorite, and we had a guest on the show, was Popium. Frank Hammersland was on the show. Rest in peace, Frank Hammersland. Yeah. But Popium's had 4 wonderful albums out, 4 of my favorite albums of all time. I loved it, but they've never been released on vinyl. And as big as they were, and as popular as they were, and are there any Popium fans out there that watch this live or in the archives? If you are, drop us a note on the show's message thing and let me know if you'd be interested in buying Popium vinyl, because I'm kind of in talks with some people, and to possibly make that happen.
I know I will.
Yeah, I figured you would. I figured you're number 1 on the list. You definitely, but
no,
considering doing it again, as same thing with like a band like the Head Boys, it is a licensing tug of war with Sony International, and but I've got a leg up on it.
No good.
He doesn't stop.
Joel's going to keep coming with Shoes titles.
So we'll see. Maybe down the road we can start putting some special Popium vinyl out. Which
that would be really great. And God, where was I going to go with that? I forgot. But
Popium vinyl.
I was just going to let people know that in case you're tuning in now and expecting to see Gary Klebe, unfortunately, he wasn't able to get his devices to work properly to allow him to be on with it. I mean, he would come on and it would knock him off. And I think he's probably just given up for now. But we'll figure it out. We'll reschedule and we'll get him on.
But what we can tell you is that he's got a brand new solo CD out, and David's got it right there. It's called Out Loud, and if you're not familiar with Shoes or Gary Klebe in general, I'm going to run the link across the bottom, shoeswired.com. That's got everything you need to know about the shoes, and then you can also look up Gary Klebe and and find Out Loud and listen to it on Spotify and all the places you can. Hey,
Oh,
actually,
here he
he's
is
back in
again.
the studio again. Let's
Speak
see
of
if we
the
can get
devil.
him back up.
Let's see if we can get him on consistently.
Hey, look at that. There's Gary.
There's no reason I would believe that it won't disconnect again. So
I think there's bound to be a reason. I got another one. My brother and I have been quoting Shoes titles throughout this whole ordeal. So yeah. All right. Well, you know what? If you get knocked off again, let's just reschedule, because at some point you'll figure this out.
Yeah, it's all good.
Hopefully, but so far you've been on the longest you had, so maybe it's resolved.
It's a record. Better ask those questions quickly.
Hey, Gary.
Well, I mean,
let's go ahead.
Let's get to the new album, because that's the major. All right.
A material issue. Oh well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Gary Klebe of Shoes and Solo.
He's trying again.
Yeah, there's something
it's not. Yeah, but I mean, it's obviously not going to work consistently, and we can't even ask questions.
Yeah.
We can ask him, but he won't be able to answer them.
You want to drop him a text and say, we'll get back to you, and we'll test it another time.
Let me do that.
Yeah, Tim. Put them
Okay,
back on. Yeah, we're gonna let Gary know that we'll run a test.
Do I actually?
There's
Can I
something
text
going
him?
on with his connection.
I'll send him a message. Gary, let's just reschedule.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's just sometimes
no worries, it happens.
Sometimes where people are, their Wi-Fi connection is not strong enough to hold the connection. So we'll figure it out. We'll get him.
The last time this kind of thing happened was with Denny Sewell.
Oh, he wasn't happy.
He was really, yeah. I don't think he really wanted to be there all that much anyway. Yeah. I think he did. I think for everybody's good friend Fernando had a connection to him, and he probably did it more for Fernando than for us. And so yeah, he was getting very frustrated, and I didn't even bother following up. I did send an "I'm sorry" message, but whatever.
But
Gary's a very affable person, and we'll figure this out. Anyhow, I wanted to show a few things that I got. One over in Glasgow after the last Material Issues, and the other were things I ordered through Amazon Italy that showed up just before I got home. This one is kind of cool, and I thought I already had this, but I think but it turns out I didn't. New reissue of Magic Christian Music, which I think is a very underrated Badfinger album. People will talk about Straight Up and Wish You Were Here, which are great as well. But this is definitely my second favorite next to Wish You Were Here. And it's got all some of the tracks are reworked, are different mixes of Ivy's tracks, and some of them are completely new Badfinger tracks, including Come and Get It, which is the hit that's on this album.
Sure, yeah.
This is a blue vinyl special release. I think it's UK only. Again, I thought I found it somewhere, but I hadn't. I'm going to open it right now. We're going to do an unboxing right on.
I hope it's the sky. I hope it's sky blue, is like the cover. Yeah.
I think that's what they were going for, but let's take a look here. Nice Apple label. Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's marbled sky blue.
That's nice.
Yeah, so it looks like there's blue along with clouds. Yeah, it's really nice, and it's a really good album. Again, a lot of people don't seem to like it as much because some of the tracks don't have Joey Molland on them.
Right. Yeah.
But it's got a really great late '60s vibe to it, and some of the tracks, like Rock of All Ages, really rock.
Mm-hmm.
And this has the UK lineup, which includes Angelique and Give It a Try, two tracks that were not on the US version. Oh, Beautiful in Blue. That was an Ivy's track. And I know he's referring to the cover.
Yeah.
The other thing was the one big plus for me in going to Milan is that because of that, yes, we saw. Because of that, I found out that this band from Italy called E Poo or The Poo had all of their albums, and I think they have like 30 albums, reissued by Universal Italy, including the first 3, which are the ones that really matter to me. So here's the first one, I don't know how to pronounce this. Perché Cum Noir, maybe? I don't know. It's from 1960.
Cum Noir.
Yeah, it's from 1966 originally, and it's a really cool beat album. They do the style well. Reissue on vinyl. That's true. They haven't. Yeah. The straight up record store day issue, even that, the straight up record store day issue, only available in Sweden. So the whole thing was really weird. But yeah, you're right. Maybe one day, maybe tomorrow. Anyway, so this one, and I have an original copy of this, which I spent I could say lira, but it was euros at this point. So I spent a pretty euro for the original. Now the second album is the one I was happiest about because you'll never find an original of this. It's called Contrasto, and I was very surprised to find out how short the album is. It's like about 25 minutes.
Oh wow!
But again, some really cool originals and a few covers on this one. There's an instrumental. But again, another really solid album. Now, the thing about this band is you have to not mind that they sing in Italian. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I would always prefer English, but I'm not a big lyrics person anyway. So as long as the rhythm of the words is there, I'm fine. But this is the one that I hadn't been really aware of how good this one. This is the third one. It's called Memori. It looks like memory, but I was assured that it's called Memori. Oh, he's trying again.
he's a glutton for punishment.
I sure am. Can you hear me?
No, we're good. I hope you can stay on.
Now we're in the studio where all the magic happens.
This has been the most jagged episode. I'm like getting into different things, and then Gary shows up again. So wait, you're in a different room now.
Yeah, he's in the studio.
I'm trying my studio computer again. It might be a router problem or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's probably what it is, Gary. Because sometimes it might just be tonight that the signal is just not that strong where you're located for whatever reason. We've had that happen.
But it only happens when I'm talking to you guys, just so you know.
Okay.
Well, we're very magnetic, and we control Wi-Fi signals from wherever, you know.
Well, anyway, it's looking good right now. So here's the new album, Out Loud. I have to ask you before we get into more particulars, the design on the cover, the metal skeleton. What's behind that?
What's going on with that?
You know, it's just I don't know. It's just that's actually stuff I had around the house, believe it or not. That's a dental mannequin used in dental schools for their future.
And you just happen to have a dental mannequin lying around the house?
I'm not quite right, Mark. You know, no, it's really cool. Actually, it's a solid aluminum, and those are vintage microphones that I've collected. So
were those microphones used on this album or any Shoes albums?
No, they weren't. No.
Is there a meaning to 3 microphones?
No, but I think I know what you're getting at.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
It just makes me think of a big favorite Shoes track of mine, three times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've been quoting a lot of Shoes,
which was a really brilliant idea. Everyone talks about the only hit that had 3 lead vocalists on it was Carrie Ann by the Hollies.
Yeah.
But what they didn't know is that 3 Times by Shoes had the same thing, and the album was a pretty big hit, so I'm counting it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was just listening to that coincidentally, and it turns out it might have been Spotify or something. I forgot, but something wasn't quite the same, and I realized I was listening to a demo. what we did in our studio before we went to England to record that.
Oh,
And it's just surprisingly how, I mean, I guess I'm bragging a little bit that is pretty close to what the final product was in the big studio.
So wait, so the version that's on Spotify purports to be the Electro version, but it's actually a demo?
There is some version on there, but you probably wouldn't know to listen to it unless you really study it. The vocals are more have more reverb on them. That's what I can really tell. But there was a different version. I forgot when we released some of those demos, but they sound very similar.
Right. Oh, well, I'm going to check that out. That'll be interesting. And again, I know now going in, I wonder if I would have known, because I've heard those albums so many times that I feel like if something was different about it, even if it was minor, I would think, wait a minute. But yeah, who knows?
So why?
I wanted to show you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
I was just saying. So Gary, why, after all these years, does a solo Gary Klebe album pop up? What? Why wasn't this just a part of a new Shoes album?
I never intended on doing a solo record. It just wasn't. I just didn't think it was a thing for me. But I'd started writing songs for a follow-up record to Ignition, the last one we did, and I just started having ideas, and I got to a point, and we weren't really ready to get going yet. I could just tell that the vibe wasn't there to do a record. But I had more ideas for songs, and by the time I had, 4 or 5 songs, I thought, well, do I do that? Take the solo route, which isn't what was not what I thought of, but I still had more ideas, and it just it came out of me. I mean, so I didn't even think. In fact, I did half the songs I did thinking this would be on a Shoes record, but then as I had more songs, then I started thinking, well, if it's a solo record, I should fill in with this kind of a song or that kind of a song to balance things out. I didn't go into it with this in mind at all.
And what did the other two guys say when you told them about the shift in perspective?
They didn't really hear it till I was done. I had one song that I had presented to the group, and again, the chemistry just is hard to explain how Shoes operate. It makes no sense to anyone, including us. But I think they were probably a little bit surprised when I actually, to go back on that one, I had a song and we just ended up not working on it. One of the songs on the album, and they had some more songs, and they just built up, and pretty soon I had a record. So they didn't hear it. After that, they didn't hear any songs, I think, until I was close to being finished. I've actually been finished for a while. You, David, you had some of the earlier mixes from several years ago, but it's been sitting around, and I'm kind of sick of it now. I just wanted the stupid thing to get out.
No.
And why did you call the album Out Loud instead of just like Loafers or something?
You think that'd be a good name for an album? I take it.
For a Shoes solo.
Yeah, maybe we'll save it maybe we'll borrow that idea for the next.
That's
Shoes
all right.
And there will be one. Yeah, there will be.
Right. Yeah. So Out Loud just seemed like a good title for you, or?
Yeah, it's just an expression of myself, I guess. Taking a route that I never expected to take. I never thought I had the personality or a stage presence to be a solo artist, and I just kind of backed into music in the first place. Everyone I went to high school with, it was surprised that they didn't even know I could play guitar or write songs or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite a shock, I think, for them to think, what do you mean you're in a band and you have a record contract? What? I was just a jock in high school. I didn't do any music at all.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're a big guy and look very athletic, so that part doesn't surprise me at all. But what did surprise me is when I met you guys. You guys came out to California, You did 2 shows, both of which I attended. One at Bogart's in Long Beach, which is gone now, and one at Club Lingerie the next night, also gone. But I remember meeting all 3 of you in different environments. We were outside the club talking to John, and he was a chatterbox, just on and on and on. Not in a bad way, but we were surprised. My friend Mark and I, not this Mark, another one, were surprised that he talked as much as he did. Jeff, we met. He was doing kind of after the show, he was doing kind of a meet and greet on his own, and a bunch of us were asking him questions, and he seemed very placid, but on the other hand, very well spoken, soft spoken, but very well spoken, and very comfortable being around people and doing this kind of meet and greet. And then we met you. You were hanging back at the bar, not around anybody, and it almost seemed like you were uncomfortable even talking to the 2 of us. And I thought, this is the guy in the band who writes all the cynical stuff. You'd think he would be the one who would be like, and when you did talk, you'd be saying, all kinds of negative things about life. But you were just really, really quiet. It's like, and I never got the sense you were rude, just that, maybe talking to people you don't know well wasn't your thing.
Yeah. I'm an introvert. There's no question about it. But that sounds like me to be hanging around by myself at the bar. So I totally believe you on that one.
Yeah, this was early '91, not long after Stolen Wishes had come out.
Sure, yeah.
So you had played on that tour, and I think
I remember that.
I'm trying to remember, you opened for The Pursuit of Happiness at Club Lingerie, I believe, but I can't remember who. Oh no, Material Issue opened for you at Bogart's. That was the one time in my life I got to see them.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Wow.
I just remember. I remember knowing, Valerie Loves Me because I'd seen it on TV. But beyond that, I mean, International Pop Overthrow, the album for which I partially named my festival, hadn't come out yet. They were playing tracks from it. But the only thing I remember about them was, man, that lead singer has some attitude. He is somebody who, he was born to be on stage.
He's the kind of character that I always wish I could be. I'm just not. He just had a stage presence. He was born for rock and roll.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when things got tough for the band, decided to end his life. It was a bad day for all of us. He was a good friend of ours.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Now, Gary, you talked about not really intending to do a solo album, whether you wanted to be, the person, in front of this thing or whatnot. Now, does this mean you're going to go out and play some things and promote this, at least locally, and be the guy out front?
No, I don't have a band. I have a drummer, John Richardson, who's a fantastic drummer, and he keeps jabbing me about doing some shows, but it's too difficult for me to. I have to go back and learn the songs for one thing, and who wants to do that?
Yeah.
I kind of want to get my attention back to the band because Shoes is where it really matters overall. But if it was easier to do, I'd probably do it, quite frankly. And I am uneasy about it. Performing is not my the best my strong suit. But it would have been nice. I thought about it. You never know. I guess it could happen, but it's kind of doubtful.
But you think the band will get out there and record another album, maybe?
Would you like us to?
No.
You're asking the wrong guy. You know what I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, of course I would.
I see them all the time. We hang out. We're great friends. That's been the secret to us sticking together, is being close to each other. And we all want to do another record. It's hard. It's hard to find the incentive to do it, the reason to do it. There are a lot of fans that seem to appreciate it, and they do. And I don't know. We'll see what happens, but our lives aren't complete unless we keep going at this. Until we're gone, until we're not looking at the top side of the grass anymore.
Are you? Well, I mean, if you're still being creative, if you still like what you're doing together, and you've got the songs, why not? I mean, you've got the studio right there. It's not like you're worried about the studio time and and some of the financial things that come into that. But you know, if you guys like playing together and you've got songs and you do it, why not do it? Why not, you know, get it out there for forever, you know?
One thing that changed from in the early days, we recorded just for the love of it. It was just, we were fascinated to hit the play button and think, wow, is that really us?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we got into this. We're studio rats. We never played in bands, so we never had that experience. It was all recording, making records. We did it for the sheer pleasure. When we signed to a major label, and this won't surprise you because this is the story for a lot of bands, is that there are outside pressures that weren't there before. There's interference by the record label and expectations. That's the big one. Our label expected platinum sales on the first release, and we're disappointed when it didn't happen. Pretty unrealistic. And this is a time when the record business was starting to take a downturn in general, the business itself.
Right.
But the expectations are so high. So recording a record, there were different goals, I suppose. Some that we didn't want to have to deal with, you know, hit singles or whatever the case might be. And usually criticism were vague, where you wouldn't learn anything from it. They weren't constructive at all. But it's true for all bands. I shouldn't complain. The record business is a business. After the Elektra records, we still had hopes of possibly reconnecting with a major label, but it just didn't happen. The business itself, bands weren't being signed. It was a bad time for the industry overall.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Gary. Had Present Tense been released, let's say 15 years later, and it didn't sell, you would have been dropped right then. So even though Elektra was disappointed in you, they gave you 2 more albums, which that was the thing about major labels back then. They would give you more shots.
Right. Well, but usually there were labels that would be happy with 15,000 sales, then 30, then 60, and then to build it up. It wasn't true at our label at Elektra. We were treated well overall, at least for the first year or so, but eventually there is the impatience built up, and there just was pretty hard to satisfy them at any level unless it was a hit, and they were already disappointed that the first record didn't go platinum, and that
wow.
stuck.
I think you're the first guest who was on a major label who actually said that. I mean, that, you know, a lot of them would tell us that the label was disappointed in the sales, but the idea of them being disappointed because it didn't go platinum, that's astounding. Wow.
They were spoiled, essentially. They had successful artists. The Cars right before us, you know, they were artists, the new artist of the year, I forgot what it was, but they were a multi-platinum seller, and they thought it was going to be easy. And quite frankly, I think the whole company just sort of loosened their belts and didn't work as hard. Things came easy. They had Queen too at the time. It was a big label. It was, keep in mind, it was also Asylum Records, the two together.
True.
So they had quite a track record, and I think they got lazy in their expectations. I really do. Just thinking things were going to be handed to them, and that's not the way it works.
If you had a choice, if you could go back in time and people and major labels were courting you, what label do you think you would have rather signed with? Who would have treated you better? Who would have promoted you better, and would have given you and wouldn't have had the expectations?
There are labels. Let me just try to think. A label like, let's say, Sire, for example. Seymour Stein, he wanted to sign us, and he wasn't happy when we went with Elektra. He came in designed to talk to us and convince us, but also he wasn't going to have any support at all. He wasn't very loose with the dollars, and essentially we asked if we get tour support and how are we going to survive, and he says, well, can't you just crash at your girlfriend's house, just there was not going to be any budget, really low budgets. And but the advantage would have been if we would have been allowed to record the records ourselves in our own studio, which we didn't have the trust of Elektra to do that, and I understand. But with Sire, I think at least they had the attitude that you've got to build up a band. You have to. It takes some time really for it to sink in. It's not just an overnight kind of a thing. If you want longevity, it's going to take a while to get there. And I think there were like Sub Pop, I think, is that way too. A little bit later, they came along, but the Electra's offer was so superior to Sire overall.
Yeah.
There's no way we weren't going to do it. We were fans of the Cars and other artists on the.
And I mean, I don't know what studio Sire would have put you in, but and I admit, even though I know and love bands and know their songs, I don't always know where, who produced what or who played on what or where it was recorded. But wherever Present Tense and Tongue Twister were recorded, especially those two, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could hear a difference between. Was it Short Order that you recorded before? And then you could hear the difference between, a black vinyl and Present Tense in terms of studio quality.
Well, but there was a marked difference. It wasn't just it was the equipment itself. We did black vinyl shoes on a 4-track,
right?
Continually bouncing back and forth and combining, and it was very challenging. It was limiting. Sometimes limitations can work in favor. But the sound we got, so many people have said, "Oh, how did you get that black vinyl record sound?" And we thought, well, that's not really what we wanted. That's just the best we could do with the equipment we had. It wasn't so much the personnel; it was the equipment, the gear that allowed there to be a step up with Present Tense and Tongue Twister. Not that we didn't learn a lot from the producers we worked with in those environments, but it was. The whole thing was a learning experience, but we could have done it ourselves if we had the equipment.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that's the rub right there, having the equipment.
Well, especially with us, we do so much overdubbing and just maybe too much. I don't know, but we need lots and lots of tracks. That's why digital works good for us, because there's hundreds of tracks. There's no limitations there. But
I mean, I had no problem with the sound of black vinyl. In fact, that's when I discovered you. I was driving on the FDR in Manhattan to a class at NYU, and suddenly Do You Want to Get Lucky comes on WNEW FM. And at first I thought, is this Lindsey Buckingham? I mean, I actually thought maybe it was a solo album and he was using different equipment. He wanted to sound raw or something.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this is a great song. And, I'm yelling at the radio. I didn't use the word back announce yet because I didn't know it. I just said, you better tell me who this is. Fortunately, they did. And after my class, I said, I've seen that black vinyl album before. I know where it is. So after my class, I rushed out to a record store in Brooklyn where I'd seen it and picked it up. And then it wasn't long after that Present Tense came out. And I was ready for that one immediately. I mean, I'd seen it in Billboard magazine. There were ads for it. And on release date, I ran over from New York University to Crazy Eddie's, which back then was a big stereo store, but they had a record department. And they had Present Tense. And I brought it home, immediately put it on, and I was in heaven at that for the next 40-something minutes. So,
to this day, there have been people that have asked us, how we got that black vinyl sound. And we're thinking, you mean you like that better than the big studio records? Because that's what we wanted to sound like, Present Tense and Tongue Twister and so on and so forth. And eventually we had our own gear and we could do it ourselves. But there's people that think that we sold out because we got away from the black vinyl sound.
You know what? I hate that. I mean, there are bands who make no mistake do sell out. You can tell by the way they've changed their sound. People were saying REM sold out when they went to Warner Brothers. No, they didn't. And I never even for a second thought that Shoes sold out. I just thought these songs are amazing and they sound so good. Some people, again, you talk about the cynicism in your song. Some people are just cynical in real life and they want to hate things.
Oh, come on, I'm not that bad.
No, you're not. I mean, you wrote some positive stuff like She Satisfies. So,
well, yeah, I probably have a couple that are not depressing.
You did.
For a change
but I wanted to show you a couple of things, and I really wanted to ask about this album from your perspective, since, as far as I know, you're not on it. But when I read about One in Versailles, I naturally wanted a copy immediately and couldn't find it. Luckily, Greg Shaw, we met him in the late 80s. He didn't have a copy for me, but he said, I'll tape it for you. And he did. And that's where I first heard it and fell in love with a lot of the songs. And then in 1994, there was an ad in Goldmine magazine, and a guy had it listed, which I had never seen. It wasn't cheap. Make no mistake, even back in 94, I had to pay a pretty penny for it.
Wow.
So this is just the sheet, which I haven't glued to the cover. And then, of course, there's the record. But were you aware? I know you were in France studying. Were you aware that they were even doing this record, or when you came home, they said, "This is what we did in your honor"?
I was pretty much taken by surprise, just like those guys were with my new record, I guess. I didn't really know until they sent me a tape cassette. But what had happened, there was a postal strike in France at that time, went on for months, and there was no communication with the States. So I was probably not until of the school year, maybe April or so, by the time I got it. And I was just shocked by it, because so many leaps and bounds over what we'd done before that. And I just thought the singing was just so incredible that it was intimidating. It worried me, thinking that they don't need me, that they can do it themselves. When the next record came around, I refrained from singing. I just thought that you guys, you're the singers, so you should do it and leave me out. I didn't want to look like a buffoon at the time, and because the standards had been raised a lot from what those guys did in that record. But eventually, I decided right before Elektra, I guess, or Elektra deal, present tense, I decided to get back into it again reluctantly. But no, I guess for Black Vinyl Shoes, rather.
Right.
That I started singing again, but it took a lot to do that. I was intimidated, but I was just completely blown away, and that was, to me, the biggest leap that Shoes had ever taken, really. And it didn't feel good that I wasn't part of it, but it was great. And those guys did that with very little time. John was away from school, so he would come back once in a while on the weekend. So it was done very, very quickly, and that's why it's so impressive. They're great songs.
But the cool thing, even when I first heard about it, the cool thing for me was they did this in your honor. I mean, you don't see that very often. They named the album after the person who's not on.
They won't be pissed off about it. They were just,
It's a feel-good honor.
Yeah, they still wanted me in the band, but they had to throw me a bone.
Right. Well, did they? So when you said, I'm intimidated by what you've done, I don't think I want to sing. Were they very reassuring?
Yes, somewhat. Yeah. But they knew I just didn't want to do it. Yeah. No, they tried to talk me into it early on, but pretty soon they realized that's just the way it was going to be.
But ultimately, of course, you decided to, and the rest was history. Here's another item. Just one. I collect test pressings. I just love the whole idea of them. And this is a present tense test pressing that I have.
That's pretty cool.
Do you have one?
I probably do someplace back in the archives. I probably do. One of us does anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I love about test pressings is that this, and for those who are watching who don't know, this is and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the album that is sent to the band so that they can check to make sure everything sounds right. There's no glitches. Things aren't out of order. It's all ready to go to be pressed. Am I correct in that?
Yes. What you first you listen to the acetates. They do a sample based on the settings. The acetates. That's where the lathe will actually cut the grooves. You listen to that, and the next step is for it to be plated at the plant and pressed, and that's the time when things can go wrong. If dust gets on the stamper, it could be for a lot of reasons. So it's kind of a nervous time in a way. You may have to make sure you catch everything. And you guys will probably be upset with me for saying this, but I'm not a fan of vinyl. And there's a lot of vinyl collectors that have a good friend that just makes a face and and will talk to me for a while. Not really, but it's always been a pain in the ass overall vinyl, because essentially what's done in a mastering lab is the sound is altered to compensate for the deficiencies of the vinyl. That
Sure.
whole process. It's amazing that it works. Even this little needle dragging across these wavy trenches in the vinyl, that somehow through the vibrations gives this incredible sound.
I
But
still
it
can't
doesn't.
wrap my head around it. Yeah.
I know, but when we would leave the studio, our reference, the reference we used to make all of our decisions, was based on hearing that analog tape in the studio monitors. That's what it was. So anything different from that was like, wait a second, that's not how we made decisions. That's not the final finished product as far as we're concerned. So vinyl was. I know people love it, and I kind of understand why. There is a warmth that's added to it that you could say is a good thing. There are emulations in the digital world that will try to emulate that, but overall, it was more of a pain than anything else having to deal with it. Because when I heard the test pressings for my new record, it's available on vinyl too. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I hear distortion all over the place. And I think I'm more sensitive to it now, having worked in the digital world for as long as I have now. But it always bugged us. But there's nothing that beats the artwork of that big old album cover, that experience of when you first break the seal, and the smell of the PVC is locked in your brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, and I have to say, I mean, I'm not a vinyl snob. I have way more CDs in my collection than I do vinyl.
It's okay if you are, by the way.
CDs
It's okay if you are.
No, in my opinion, you can take that too far. Like I've said this on the show before, but there was a documentary done about a record store owner going around the country, finding a bunch of stock for his store. And in the process, they were interviewing record collectors. And one of them said, like, I'll never buy a CD. He said it with pride, like vinyl is so much better. And my response to that guy, if I ever met him, would be, with all due respect, you're an idiot. Because not having nothing even to do with the quality of the CD versus vinyl, but all the music that's never come out on vinyl and never will. You want to talk, and this guy was a 60s fan. I'm thinking all these 60s reissues that came out in the 90s and in the early 2000s that are never, ever going to be reissued on vinyl. And a lot of them won't be streaming either. He's missing out on that because he's being a complete vinyl snob. And I mean, that's just stupid. But
well, but having said what my opinion of vinyl, I don't hate vinyl. It's just I have to put up with the deficiencies. There's a lot to be said about the problems with CDs. Could be done at a higher sampling rate. With the standard that they finally settle on, it does sound more brittle. It's not like the mix necessarily what you hear in the studio, but I'm just saying I think it's closer to what you hear coming out of the studio compared to vinyl. That's all.
So you're obviously very sensitive to sound quality, which I think. I mean, it can be a blessing and a burden. How sensitive are you to speed variations? Because I am, and it drives me absolutely bonkers.
Well, you mean speed, and in what environment would you be hearing a speed difference? You mean on a turntable, from a turntable?
Where I first, not so much on a turntable, because I always owned turntables with strobes, so I could control that. Usually on a cassette in a car. Suddenly I'd be hearing something and it would be off, and there'd be one of two reasons for it. Either the cassette player in the car was going too fast or too slow, or the cassette machine in my house on which I recorded the album, that could have been going too fast or too slow. And if it was going too slow, it would sound too fast in the car, and vice versa. And I realized when I did timings, that even variations of like 0.5%, I could hear, while other people would be saying, "What are you talking about?"
Well, you might have some partially anyway a perfect pitch that it just bothers you.
I do, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I do know what you're talking about. I have heard that before, and I don't think I've got perfect pitch, but you might have that. That's what
I think
that's the problem is.
it's very close. And while it would be something that would be cool to brag about, when things, thank God for CD players, which virtually never vary from what they should. But yeah, in the days of cassette players, drove me nuts.
So it's a detriment to have perfect pitch. It can be.
It was a big detriment. Let's play something from the new album, if that's okay with you.
Sure. Oh no! Don't play anything. Don't play anything.
I always have to ask because some people might feel like I don't want to be sitting here while my music's playing.
And Gary, before he pulls it up, Gary, where's the best place to send people to find the new album or the vinyl?
You can go to Shoes website, which is shoeswire.com.
Yeah, I'm running that across the bottom so they can access it.
Also, there's Bandcamp too, under my name. Bandcamp, okay. Both of those. And it's carried, distribution is by The Orchard, which is
right.
owned by
I know them. Yeah.
Sony. So it's other places to buy. Amazon.
It'll be all the normal places the Orchard is distributing, which is all the regular places. But okay, great. So when I run shoeswire.com across the bottom for people to see, they can at least start there and access their way to Out Loud on CD or vinyl. But here we go. Take it away, David.
I almost always start with the first track because I figure that there's a reason why the artist put it there. I remember growing up, it was very important because DJs would be more. You would put the single as a first track because the DJs would be more likely to play that. So Room to Breathe is the first track. Let's play it and then you can tell us whatever you want about it. But all right, so we've got Room to Breathe, the initial track on the new Gary Klebe solo record, Out Loud, here on Material Issues.
It's all broken open, it's all boiling over. I know that time will
So really good track to lead off the album with. Was this one of the earlier ones you recorded? And why did you choose that track to lead off?
It flopped around different. Oh, by the way, that's a unique spelling of my name there. That was that's a little different.
Oh, did I get it weird?
Yeah, just a little bit, but that's okay.
That's okay. We'll fix it.
They'll get the gist. There were other. It was a hard decision. In fact, I think that when I first played the songs for Jeff and John, I think that Jeff had brought up that he thought that and the next song should be towards the front. So that was a influence from what he said. And I forgot what song was first originally. It had it's been jumbled up. I don't even remember some of the orders before. I was going to say that I think that good or bad, I think my songs and SHOES songs, I think they're consistent from beginning to end on records. And it may not be somebody's bag, but there is a consistency, and we've never moved forward with a record as long as we had what we consider to be filler. There just was not an option. We just wouldn't finish it until. But that's much easier to do when you have 3 songwriters. Of course, there's more to choose from, and
sure.
Now, Gary, you
talk. The albums always seem very democratic. So, and yeah, as a fan, I thought that was very cool.
To a fault, it's democratic, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to think now. David, aren't you? Isn't history your thing? Was that don't you have a PhD or something? And is it history or politics?
No, I have a master's in cognitive psychology. So
I have some really politics because I was thinking there must be a word for a government that works on being unanimous, not just a majority, but unanimous, because that's what we are. Whatever you would call that. Things don't move forward until we all agree on something. And that can be an obstacle, of course, but one person can say, it's not going to happen, and that's that. You move on.
Yeah, you're talking about
there's another really cool power pop band called the Gripweeds who also operate the same way, where it's everybody or it doesn't happen.
Yep. Yeah.
And that includes people who weren't songwriters in the band. It just had to be every band member signed off on something, or they didn't go ahead with it.
Yeah, there's good and bad in that, but that's how we operate.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure when one person disagrees and you're very passionate about something, it's hard to live with. But if that's if you got to stick to your policy, I mean that kept the band together all these years, so you got to do it.
Yeah, we work in a strange way, but it's worked for however strange it is. It just works. I don't know why, but it just does.
What's the origin of Room to Breathe something? Is it something from your life, or just something that you felt?
Felt many times, just the urge I think everybody has of just a need to start over again, just to get out and do it again, or take a different route. So it's been a familiar theme in my life, and I think a lot of people are the same way.
Now, when you mentioned earlier, Gary, that doing a solo album or not being wanting to be the front the vocalist or what, are you comfortable with your vocals on this album? I mean, because I think they sound fantastic, but do you hear it differently?
I always say I hate my voice. I don't hate it really, but I wish I could sing like Robin Zander, but I can't. Wow. And who can,
Right.
I like that. I have a lot of deficiencies, but I just think that's life, where you can turn deficiencies into a strength. You try harder in other ways to make up for it, and I hope that I do that. I pick songs that stay in the range I can sing, and
did you do all the background vocals to yourself? Are you layering?
Yeah.
This is all you. Yeah.
Yeah, all the instruments and vocals I did that. The only thing I didn't do were the drums that John Richardson played.
Right. Okay. Wow. No, I love it. I love the bass line there in Room to Breathe too. It's You know, it's just little McCartney melodic areas there that are very cool. And of course the vocals. I love the aha. You know, give me room to breathe. Aha. And that's,
I'm sure John would have played a better bass than that, but I did the best.
yeah, that's all right. It wasn't bad at all. It's a cool track. It leads off the album very strong.
I remember the first time I heard those aha vocals was when I first put on Stolen Wishes and Feel the Way That I Do. I remember when I put that album on, and I was listening to the production on it, and when I heard the opening instrumental, I said, "Oh boy, are they doing something in a disco realm?" And then I heard the ahas, and I said, "No, this is going to be good." And it was.
We tried to make it disco, but we failed.
Yeah, thankfully.
No, it's really good, really good. I enjoyed that opening track. That's a driving sing along number. Yeah,
and it's interesting. You say that you sing in your range, but compared to the other two guys, the difference between your normal voice, the pitch of your talking voice, and your singing voice is probably greater with you than it is the other two guys whose speaking voice is generally, you know, in the higher tenor range. Did you ever think about singing in the exact range of your talking voice, or just never, just something you didn't want to do?
Well, I started that way with my country record, but it didn't work out so well.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know why, but when we first started singing, we just really pushed the high vocals. I don't know where in the hell that came from, but we just did it, and we're satisfied until we got into a higher range. And you hear the farther back you go, the more it's true. And it wasn't a natural range for me, definitely. You can hear the strain there, but I think all of us sang higher than we were comfortable with. It was particularly, it was more odd songs live. And are you kidding me? That's how we recorded that high. Now I'm going to sing that high with live, and it's quite a challenge. I mean, there's a song of mine, Curiosity, that I don't want to play live because it's just too damn high, and I can do it, but it sounds strange.
Yeah.
Why do I do that to myself? I don't know.
Well, that's because you forgot to use.
Yeah, you're right. That is probably your highest vocal that I can think of.
Yes, I'm in pain right now thinking about it.
All right, well, let's move on from that, and we'll wipe out the pain with another track from the album. And the next two I have here are two of my favorites, and one of them is Eyes Open Wide. So let's get into that. This is the 5th track on Gary Klebe's new solo record, Out Loud, and we got it here for you on Material Issues.
The journey was the destination. Eyes open wide, and there's nothing more to hide. Eyes open wide, open wide. Won't be lonely again. No, never again.
Yes, folks, you have heard a. Oops.
And we're going to hear it again.
You have heard a non-cynical song by Gary Klebe. That one is very that one is very uplifting. And
Just
there's some
when you
really,
gave up on me.
there were really some really cool chord changes in that, and that's one of the hallmarks of your songs for me was always some of the chord changes you used that were unexpected. You know, sometimes I don't know about you, but when I listen to songs, sometimes you hear a familiar pattern and you expect something to happen next. And that's not a bad thing if it does. But when all of a sudden, when there's a left turn, all of a sudden, for me, that's like 90% of the time, that's like, this is great. I'm so glad that the artist did this. So you have a few of those in here, as you often have during your career. So yeah, that one's definitely among my favorites.
Yeah, no, once again, it's just one of those, as your history with Shoes and with this new album, it's they're head bobbers, you know, and
that's true.
I love it. And they're head bobbers, and the harmonies that you're doing with your own voice, so it works very well. But yeah, really well done, man. It's just a refreshing album to have, since we don't have a new Shoes album yet.
It'll come.
When was the album officially released?
Yeah, this April, last April 17th. Three months ago.
I thought it was later for some reason. So if that's the case, then
No,
I
guess it's really been 2 months. Then April.
Okay.
2 months. Yeah.
2 months. Yeah. 2 months.
I assume there have been some reviews at this point. How have the reviews been?
Very flattering. Yeah.
Oh wow. Good.
Yeah. Overall, it's been well received, and I can't think of too much negative that was said. There's always some clunkers in there from people that respond to, but not that bad actually. It's I get depressed pretty easily when I hear negative stuff. I get more mad than anything else, like everybody does, but there's not too much of that to get mad about.
No, mad is the best way to get, because you know, I've never been a musician. I'm not a songwriter, so I can't relate to the feelings that musicians and songwriters get when they read a negative review. It's got to hurt in a lot of cases. But as a festival organizer, when I get negative reviews, and less from cynical critics than from people who've played the festival, and thank God I don't get too many of them, but when I do, I tend to dwell upon the negative more than I should. Instead, and being depressed about it instead of being pissed off, which is really what the healthiest thing. Well, the healthiest thing is probably just to let them roll off your back, which is something Mark Hershberger is really good at in life. But the second healthiest thing is to get pissed off. The least healthy is to get depressed over it. So I'm glad to hear that.
It starts off with depression, then you turn it into anger just as a defense mechanism, I think.
Well, if you can, that is much, much better. And sometimes it'll prompt you to lash back, either, you know, publicly or through your next group of songs, which we've seen artists do, of course. Many.
I mean, I tell you, when I read reviews, anything that's not, not a perfect review, a lot of times I just agree with them. Like, they've got a point, and I understand why they feel the way they do, and maybe I'll take that into account the next time I make a record.
How much
Well-
harder is it, Gary, for negative comments to hit you when this is just you? This is your solo, and you're taking it all. Then with two other guys in Shoes, if they say this new Shoes track is not up to standard, and you got the three of you can go, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But when this is just your solo album, and
Well, you think it'd be worse, Mark, to be in that situation, but if you think about it, I think it's really worse to be one of three people and you're the guy that gets singled out. Like, well, those other two guys are really good, except for you. You kind of messed things up there, dude.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, they can only compare me against me. So it's a little
True. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Oh, you could lie and tell them the bass parts were some guy named whatever, you know.
Yeah, I can say John Murphy. He jumped into it and played the bass line on that too.
And speaking of John Murphy, and now what have the two other, what has their impression of the album been? And you know, if they didn't like it for some reason or didn't like elements of it, would they be honest with you? You think?
We're not good at being honest with each other about those things. It's more you learn how to read people. Maybe
Right.
if they don't bring something up when you think they're thinking about it, they want to talk about it. That's the way it's kind of always been. I think they like it. They say they do, but I don't see any negative signs there. I realize it puts, and I've been in the same position. You know, Jeff put out a solo record a while back, and you wish the best for your partner. You know, these I love these guys. You know, they're family, and but also it would be it'd be a good kick on the teeth for that person who puts out a solo record to get recognition when that opportunity to do something to get to a higher point is a result of what the groundwork that Shoes laid. So that part is, I think there have been bands that had, you know, relative success, and suddenly one guy steps out and he gets all the recognition and leaves the rest behind. It can happen, and some of it just comes down to luck, timing, that sort of thing. But we wish the best for each other, but it's not a good situation to be in to watch the other two guys, because we've been so close to I mean, you want them to be successful. I don't know how else to explain it, but
you mentioned bands. You mentioned use the word guys, but this actually did happen very famously with bands that were girls, namely the Bangles.
There you go.
Things seemed to be extremely equal, and All Over the Place came out, and suddenly Prince takes a shine to Susanna, who was always the cute one, and before you know it, she's the one who's receiving fame, and all the singles are her vocal. And then to add insult to injury, she puts out that movie, which doesn't involve the band at all. And I mean, we had Vicki Peterson on as a guest with her husband John Cowsill. We didn't go into that too deeply, but yeah, I mean, there was resentment there. You can't help it, especially. And I mean, here's the thing, and I always try to explain this to people. This is my psychology background talking. But there's a fine line between jealousy and resentment. I mean, you know, sometimes people will accuse you of being jealous of something. I've been accused of that, certainly. And I'll say, well, maybe, but it's more resentment. I'm just pissed off that this happened unjustifiably to someone else when I feel it should have happened to me. So, you know, I think in the case of the band, and I can't speak for them, but I think there was a lot of resentment about her success, because she seemed to become detached from the rest of the band when that happened, and that's the kind of thing that's really going to breed resentment. I don't see that happening with you guys ever. So,
well, it's not that she did anything wrong. I don't know her, but I think that's a fantastic example of what we're talking about. I don't think my guess is it wasn't done intentionally, but what is she supposed to do if she does get attention and other opportunities are offered? Is she going to say, no, I don't want to be in that movie or record that record, have my own contract or whatever? It's a hard thing for a person to say, especially when, you know, bands have ups and downs, and over time normally they diminish. And if the Bangles popularity had diminished, is she not supposed to continue?
Yeah, but
I don't mean to. I have to actually take this, Mark. I'll be right back. This is
go ahead. It's probably his cardiologist.
my cocaine dealer.
Just don't talk about us.
Yeah. No, but what I was going to ask, Gary, is what would define success with this solo album for you? Is it success that you've just actually got this together and put it out? Is that success enough? Because you're not going out, you're not promoting it, you're touring or touring and playing in front of it. So that kind of limits visibility, so to speak. But in this day and age, as you know, the record business is far from what it used to be.
Yeah, sure.
What's your idea of success as far as this is concerned?
Mark, I think as artists, as they get older, and let's put it this way: if you're 35 years old these days, that's getting on the old side even. So it starts at the halfway point of your life. I think most artists, it's very important to them to feel like they're still relevant.
Right.
If there's people, if it's fans or reviews or whatever, to get some, you just want to think that you can still do it, and often you can. I think it's possible that natural, I think, for a person to think, wow, this is the best thing ever, when it really isn't. Maybe you don't have the right perspective as you did when you were younger. But that's, for me, remaining relevant, knowing that I said all along that if this record is 1/3 as good as a Shoes record, I've done my job. Third member. So, but that's really it. It's just good. It's just, maybe it's an ego thing. I don't know how else to explain it, but it really is just remaining relevant, knowing that you still have respect from people.
Does that talking psychology or whatnot, does that come in play after all these years, that getting good reviews, getting people to talk about your work? Does the ego thing, does it have to be fed? I mean, I look at someone like a McCartney, and we talk about his latest SNL performance, and people are saying, well, his voice is shot, he shouldn't be doing it. And if you're a McCartney fan, the guy's almost 84 years old. I'm grateful for the fact that he's still standing up there and allowing me the opportunity to see him do this. But
it's a blessing.
It's an absolute blessing. But there's also, I also look at that because I've got a psychology degree as well, and you look at how much is the ego at 84 years old when you don't need to be up there. There's nothing. It's not a financial incentive. You've got plenty of family for your attention, grandchildren. Why do you do it? And there's got to be a part there that feeds the ego. That is, it's an obsession. You gotta have that come. And so bring it over to your level. You've been in I know we use the word power pop, but that genre for a very long time. Shoes are recognized as one of the top bands of the genre that they call that. It's good to feel that. It's good to be at that level. That you've guys worked for and achieved. So now to keep it going, we've got a Gary Klebe solo album. It feels good. Feels good to have people talking about it.
Yeah, it's hard to not want what you had at one time. I can't imagine that McCartney hasn't been for many years now frustrated that he doesn't have #1 songs, top 40 radio, that sort of thing. He just has to be. But it is kind of a unique situation as who's higher in the pyramid than him.
Right.
There's so much attention and opportunities he still has, and maybe he feels grateful for that, even the fact that he's still alive, to be honest.
Right. Yeah.
So I have to think that he really would like a whole lot more, but there's still enough there to justify doing it. And maybe something like the SNL performance will have a negative effect on wanting to do more of it. It's very possible.
It amazes me in this day and age, because I don't know what the actual stats are, but I think they say it's been 6 or 7 years since an actual band has cracked the top 10. Like
Yeah, yeah, I heard that same thing. Yeah,
And you
amazing.
shake your head, and you're like, yeah, that's probably right. And so a guy like McCartney, who for his whole career, you know, he could put out an album that had absolutely nothing on it when you put the needle on, and it would crack the top 10 easily. And now he can't get close to it.
Well, it was more of the audience was more, they were fans of albums more in the past, as opposed to singles and just
All you have to do is go to their website.
and all the collaborations you see, somebody featuring so and so and all these. It's, you know, very limited. It comes down to just singles, and not in the same way singles were in the past. So singles usually were associated with a release off of an album that was highlighted separately. But yeah, that's right.
What do you do marketing wise? I mean, besides doing shows like this or whatnot, and do you hope for, or do you have connections for placement in television and movies and things of that sort?
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
No chance of any of that. I'm realistic. You always hope that there's some opportunity, like particularly with syncing, with meaning soundtracks, that sort of thing, commercials, any kind of exposure like that. For one thing, that kind of thing pays well, and musicians, artists don't have that many ways of having an income these days, and it's playing live is difficult to make money. Records don't make money. Music is essentially given away for free. So what else do they have to look forward to? No, I do have a distributor. Missing piece is the distributor, and they go through Orchard. They're like a sub distributor, and they also did publicity for me. So they acted as the publicist, and get all the reviews you've seen came through them. So that's worked out well.
Well, yeah, as I always say, I've got some good connections, and I've landed some things in movies and TV, and anytime an album like yours excites me, and it's like I hear where it is ripe for television, it is ripe for certain genres of film. I pass it on to the drummer in my very first band, who's actually one of the top music supervisors in Hollywood now, and you never know when it pops up. But I don't do that often. But an album like yours, it just seems to, the lyrical content, the happy head bobbing, like I said, is ripe for something like that. So you never know. If you get a phone call one of these days, it could be from something
I
push along.
I appreciate that. We never had that. We had very few covers ever done from our songs, and we always thought, for a band that, according with what the critics, fans and critics have said, that we're good songwriters, and there haven't been covers done. Sometimes more obscure bands, but it's very rare. Then out of nowhere, about a year and a half, 2 years, I guess now, there's a hip hop artist that used the drum track, a loop from an early SHOES song, on the record, and it's Travis Scott. And we've gotten royalties from this. It's weird that it's just a loop of the drum beat from "I Don't Miss You" from Present Tense. And that's all it is. I mean, it's all hyped up and produced. It sounds different, but that's what it is. And
you wonder what caught his ear, or how, or who.
I don't think he knows anything about us. I think there were production houses that produce loops and samples from interesting pieces of music and submit it to certain artists. And
he probably has no idea.
Yeah, he doesn't know who they are.
No,
but it's weird if you go on Wiki, I get a co-songwriting credit on a Travis Scott song. Talk about a mismatch, SHOES with hip hop. But it's cool at the same time.
It's interesting in the background what the average person who doesn't know how it all works out, would look at something like that and say, how is that possible? What's Gary doing hanging out with Travis?
I just told people who we're rappers now. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. No, there's been quite a few things like that they'll sample from, which is great, because it creates some royalties and things. What's the future going to hold, Gary? You talked about most likely a Shoes album. Does that mean if and when that happens, the Shoes back out performing again?
Yeah, we never commit to playing live.
Yeah.
It's a kind of an afterthought. It's always been a pain in the ass overall, Mark, to tell you the truth. It's just been, and I've been the most probably the most opposed to it for all the reasons that we already talked about. But
yeah,
no, I like playing live, but it's frustrating that when you don't play very often, bands that are really good live do it all the time. We
Sure.
never have done that, and at times when we did do it, when we were out for a couple of weeks on the road, we'd be pretty good at that time. But it's hard to have a one show or a couple of shows and then just stop. It takes a lot of preparation for it, especially when you hardly ever play. You have to learn the songs and the vocal parts and the lyrics, everything. I'm not complaining. It's just a fact. That's just what you have to do. And it's bands that play all the time. They just know it because it's current to them. But for us, it takes a lot of preparation, and you put a lot of time into it. You do a show, then it's over again. Okay, well that kind of sucks. But
would you strip it down and just say acoustic guitar, bass acoustic, and a little trap set or something, and not make it as complicated as it would have to be, full gear, or is that just not your style?
You mean for a Shoes show?
Yeah, Shoes.
Yeah, there's not really too many ways of stripping it down that much. It's still going to be the same. The monitoring is still we have relatively soft voices overall. We've always had trouble with the biggest challenge in playing live has been the not hearing ourselves sing, the monitoring system. Most people don't understand. If a singer can't hear themselves, they can't stay on pitch. Some vocalists that have really strong voices can just override that, and they can hear themselves through the monitors. But the challenge is always keeping the feedback down from the microphone. You can only get so high before the squeal comes in, and you have to back off. But these days, with the most recent shows we've done, we've used in-ears, which most people use now, I think, but it changed things a lot. And we sound a heck of a lot better, even with very little practice.
Right.
It really is kind of a game changer that I wish we had all along. But my point is that, to answer your question, is it would be just about as much rehearsal, production time, and to do something stripped down. Like what would that mean? We still have to have two guitars that are plugged in and a bass and drums. So it wouldn't be that much different. And actually, in a way, acoustic sets are a little more nerve-wracking because we don't do them as much. We usually have those Marshall guitars, high-watt guitars buzzing in the background that kind of drown us out. So when we make mistakes, you can't really tell. You plug in an acoustic and you're naked.
Yeah,
that's really more of a challenge. It's easier to hear mistakes in vocals and everything else. So, but it's pretty cool though to do.
I find it interesting. I was telling David, right, we started the show. I've got tickets tomorrow night for Delamitri in Philadelphia, and I'm thinking it could be one of the last times that they come to the U.S. at all. And they're doing a little mini tour because Justin's got Parkinson's going on, and he's
I didn't know that.
He wrote a book a year and a half ago called The Tremolo Diaries, and it's all about one of the last big tours that they undertook, and the fact that he's dealing with Parkinson's and trying to play bass, and it also affects a little bit of his memory with lyric. I remember 2 years ago, I took my daughter, she's 31, but she's a big Delamitri fan, and we went to see them at World Cafe Live, and arguably one of their bigger songs, Always the Last to Know, was her favorite song. And when he broke into it, she left where I was to get way down front to get to the closest stage, and a third of the way through the song, he forgot the lyrics. And he stopped the band and he said, "Listen, I've played this song 10,000 times. I just forgot the lyrics." And in that Tremolo Diaries, he talks about the difficulties of trying to tour and everything. But going back to what we were talking about, I've seen him play by himself at small venues just with acoustic guitar. And it's because all the little mistakes are amplified when it's just you, with your voice carrying it. So I can see where it's a little more stressful.
It's more of a challenge. If you have any trouble with your vocals, with pitching, monitoring, or anything else, or just the strength of it, just not having being able to belt out songs, with volume, it's you're more exposed with that. But
Sure,
it's cool.
especially when there's harmonies involved with like three of you. If there's just yourself, if you're a little bit off, no one's matching you, you're not matching anything else, is what it is. You can giggle about it and
absolutely.
But
Definitely. Yeah.
So with this album, is there a track on this album that is closest to your heart for any reason?
So now you're asking me to pick my favorite child.
I didn't say favorite child. That's too easy of a question. Is there one?
I honestly, I really don't know. That's honest truth, but that's often true with Shoes records too. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
If you were asking me my favorite Shoes songs, I mean, I could answer the question, and I'd just be grabbing songs out of the air because it's too difficult. I've never looked at it that way.
Yeah,
I probably have more of a tendency. In fact, when I'm asked that, is I might pick ones that I'm afraid I'll be overlooked if I don't mention them, because I just don't forget about this one. That's a good child too.
Well, and early on with the MTV years, you guys are actually on MTV, from the get-go. With a number of videos and a number of tracks. Songs like "Too Late" and "Tomorrow Night." I mean, those were right out of the gates. Great singles. Was that the label picking those singles, or were those things that you guys were pushing?
Well, the first single, Mark, was they decided it was going to be between "Tomorrow Night" and "Too Late." They're trying to decide which ones to go with. And a Chicago radio station was where they decided to make the choice, because they couldn't decide themselves.
Yeah.
No one else knew about record labels. But they had a DJ at the time, WLUP, I think it was, and they played the songs back to back and told the crowd, call in and tell us what's your choice for the single. And they picked "Too Late." Now, I think it's just because they played "Too Late" second. It was more fresh in their mind.
Yeah. We remember the title of that one.
Yeah, but I never felt comfortable with that way of doing it. Is one listening like that, and maybe things would have been different if "Tomorrow Night" had been chosen as the first single.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, you never know.
No. Well, we're gonna play one more track from your brand new CD, "Out Loud." The one that David chose is "No Afterglow."
Okay.
What can you tell me about that track before we kick?
I haven't heard that what the song single out from reviewers and fans and that sort of thing. It'll come up, but that's maybe I hear it fewer times. But I thought it would get some. It would be a favorit. But
it's probably one of my favorites on the album. Yeah,
appreciate that.
It's a great track. What's it about? Is there any backstory to?
Oh, you were talking before about my negativity and songwriting and stuff, and that's why you picked this one, just to show that side of me. I get it, but no, it's on the darker side. I wrote that one on bass of all things. I picked up the bass, and that came very quickly.
Sorry about this, gentlemen. I was trying to get a last-minute track for this year's IPO compilation. I think I have. Okay. So that was an important step.
Well, David, I'm about ready to kick off "No Afterglow." We were just discussing a little bit about it, so we're gonna play the third and final track. We're gonna play from "Out Loud" right now. And
you've got that's right. Of course, you have it there.
Yeah, I have access to the same stuff you do. It's amazing. But here we go. Gary Klebe solo, "Out Loud." This is a track on Material Issues called "No Afterglow." Cheers.
Don't remember why, don't remember when. was shattered, you turn your head around as the rain came pouring down. Tell me how this all began. Don't remember why, don't remember when. So hard to begin again. We're invincible till the storm comes rolling in. Colors have faded to gray. Memories are all that remain. And in the end there is no afterglow. There is no afterglow. Colors have slowly faded to gray. There is no afterglow. Colors completely faded away.
Yeah, and that was No Afterglow, the 7th track.
We're gonna keep playing it. We just love to do that.
Yeah, for
Gary,
some reason.
I'll
it's
take
like-
all the exposure I can get. That's,
Gary,
Yeah, there you go.
that's so like what was I thinking? Like Strawberry Fieldsy, Beatley thing going on. I
The
love
chord
I
changes
love
in
it.
the chorus again
Yeah.
and some very signature guitar lines from you in there that that identify with you. That one's probably my favorite track on the album. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
No, it's No Afterglow on Gary's relatively new 2-month-old solo album
New
Out
enough,
Loud.
yes.
Shoeswired.com going across the bottom. That's one way you can find it, but it's available at Bandcamp, Gary Klebe, Amazon, all the usual places. It's kind of everywhere, distributed by Orchard. So vinyl and CD and vinyl. So either way.
yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up the vinyl. I'm very pleased to find out that, and I'm not doing it because I'm a vinyl snob, because I had the CD first. But albums I like these days. I like to have both versions. I'm just crazy that way.
I hear you.
But anyway, Gary, thank you so much for appearing with us and hanging in with us even after just resolving the technical issues was frustrating. I'm sure more for you because you had to go through it. But thank you for working it out, and it also gave us a view of the studio. So that's great too.
I hope it didn't go over too much.
Not at all. Oh, we've gone longer than this.
Yeah.
So
no, we're having a great time. It time just flies, and we appreciate you being here, Gary. And
we really do. And continued best of luck with continued sales and reviews, and hopefully I'll see you in person again soon. But it won't be too soon. There, I did it again. And and. And
here all night, guys.
we look forward to any future Shoes releases and shows, hopefully. And
never know.
You miss out.
No, that's all we need to hear. The never know is certainly encouraging.
Good deal. Well, thank you, Gary. Have a great evening, and best of luck with everything in the future here, both solo and shoes wise.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
We appreciate what you're doing. Yeah, we really.
Well, thanks for helping the cause. You do a great job.
Thank
We
you.
try.
Have a great night, Gary. Good night.
Thanks.
Take care.
Well, there you go.
All right.
David, that was. I'm so glad we got that.
It's a good thing. Yeah, we hung in there. It worked out.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you,
it
Tim.
really was.
We always appreciate your feedback.
Well, I've seen other interviews with Gary over the years, and we talk about the Shoes being such a classic power pop, act, and that genre defining phrase power pop is always kind of weird and whatnot. But for what you and I and a lot of people that we know and people that watch this show, describe it, power pop is just kind of the thing. I know the word popular doesn't always come into play with some of these bands, but
No.
What the Shoes do is classic in the fact that we talk about the sound of it, the melodies, the harmonies, everything that goes into it. And Gary's doing wonderful work with the new album Out Loud as well. And for guys like us that love this sound, it doesn't get much better than this. So
no, it's great, and we appreciate every artist who continues to put out music as long as they can. That's the one great thing about being able to do things in your own studio. You don't have to depend upon other people, other labels. I don't care what anybody says about rock and roll. There's no age limit. You as long as you want to do it and you're putting out things that, well, even if you enjoy it alone, but it's even better when other people do. And one thing I can't stand, and I've said this before, critics who say things like, "Oh, rock and roll is supposed to be for the young," not this whole power pop weekend warrior crap. You're supposed to be young and hungry, and older people shouldn't be doing it anymore. And then the next breath, one of their friends says something like, "Oh my God, the Primitives and Lush are playing in LA. Really? I'm going." Well, guess what? Those people are old now. So stop with your damn hypocrisy. Rock and roll is for anybody who, young, older, anyone who wants to do it.
yeah,
There's no, look, I mean, it started with young people. There's, obviously the nature of rock and roll back in the day in the 40s and 50s. It started with R&B, really. I mean, that's where the term came from.
right.
But then
right.
when suburban white people started to do it, of course it was young people, because it carried it. At the time, it carried with it a certain amount of rebellion, and older people weren't rebelling. But that's gone by the wayside now. It doesn't have to be rebellious. It can be whatever it wants to be, and it can be done by whomever wants it. And it's out there. You either enjoy it or you don't. But don't go out there and get on a soapbox and say that it's only for the young. I mean, it's great that the young are doing it.
Sure.
I mean, instead of doing death metal or hip hop or whatever, or K-pop or whatever they're doing, it's great that there are people, young people, still interested in rock and roll. And the more the merrier. But I say the same thing about people of any age. You've got the need, you've got the drive. It's within you. You want to do it. Don't let anybody tell you you're too old. It's
right.
We actually started IPO Volume 14, I believe it was. The band The Turn Back.
Oh yeah.
When we first heard, I wish I could remember the name of the track, but I first heard it in Liverpool, of all places, online, and I thought it was amazing. And I contacted the main guys in the band. And they were willing to have the track on IPO Volume 14, and we left in on their album. We left in the opening dialogue before the track, which basically says that people were criticizing them for being too old, and they were only in their late 30s. And the main guy says too old, and then it goes right into the track.
Right.
And I mean, the whole thing is just, it's nuts to me. I know where it's coming from. I understand it's people who are looking to rock and roll to keep them young, to keep them feeling young. And how are they going to feel young if older people are doing it? They want to live vicariously through the young people, so that they don't have to confront their own aging.
Mhm.
And I mean, fine, if that's what you need to do, do it. But don't tell older people that they can't. As you can tell, I'm getting on my soapbox. This is something
I know it's all right.
As someone who runs a festival where the majority of people who are playing are over 40, and a good percentage are over 50, I'm going to rail against anybody who says rock and roll should only be for the young. That just fuck you. That's all. That's all I'm going to say to you people. And I have certain people in mind. I'm not going to mention their names, but certain critics out there who. And they're as hypocritical as anyone else, because if one of their favorite bands from the 70s or 80s is back in town, they're going to go, even though those people are now in their 60s and 70s.
That's me tomorrow night. It's Delamitri tomorrow night.
Yeah, but you don't feel that way about.
No, I don't feel that way. But yeah,
no, you think
But there'll be a lot of people there.
Anyone who wants to do it, let them do it.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
So speaking of rock and roll, sort of. Let's talk about some of the people who are going to be on the next few weeks.
Yeah, we got.
And again, I haven't recovered from my jet lag, but I do know that next week we're going to have, and this will be our first club owner.
Yeah, never had one.
And it's a club that Gary may have heard of. I don't know if he's ever played it. I do know. I think John Murphy actually showed up at one of our shows there. Just to watch another band, but it's a club in Chicago called Montrose Saloon. It's a really cool place. We love doing IPO there. The owner of the club is a great guy who musicians love, because he's also a musician and he knows what they need and he tries to give it to them, that sort of environment. Also, he and his wife let me stay at their home during IPO Chicago, which is a huge help. And I'm grateful for that. But most
a lot of their silverware.
Right. Most grateful for them allowing us to do IPO there. And we're going to be doing it there again next year. And the owner of the club is Eric Cheel. He's a co-owner. And he's going to be on Material Issues next Sunday. And, he and I have had discussions about what it's like to be a club owner. And it'll be very educational for people musicians and fans alike, who don't necessarily understand the business from that side of it.
Right.
And some of the things that they have to go through that the musicians and the fans don't. So it'll be enlightening for all of us when he talks about that. Plus, we'll ask him about his own band that he's still in. Yeah, and he's a lawyer, so he's a very articulate guy. This should be a really good episode.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's
next, what do we have
next Sunday at 8 o'clock?
What do we have in July?
All summer long, July 5th, the day after July 4th. We've got our third author of Beach Boy related books. And,
yes.
Yeah.
And now I can actually hold the book up because it was here when I got here. All summer long, conversation with the Beach Boys from Surfin' to Smile. David Beard, forwarded by John Stamos. Now, I have to admit, I've never been a fan of John Stamos, but that's, that's probably, that's on me. I mean, he's never done anything to warrant that from me, and
outside of just looking really good, right?
Yeah, so that's jealousy, not resentment.
that's jealousy. See, I admit, it all comes back around.
I'm jealous of the guy, and I'm jealous of him because he got to play in the Beach Boys, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so he wrote the foreword, and he has been a member of the Beach Boys touring band for many years, but David Beard has been around Beach Boys for a long time. He edits the Endless Summer Quarterly, the magazine completely devoted to the Beach Boys. And it's basically interviews in here with the people who were involved with the Beach Boys from the beginning into the Smile era. That's his favorite era. That's what he knows the most about. So I've only been able to give the book a cursory glance at this point, but it looks pretty entertaining and informative. So David's a really cool guy. We'll have him on July 5th, which is appropriate, as he said, because July 4th is, if there's one band that's most associated with July 4th, and I know Springsteen wants to say it's him, but it isn't. It is actually the Beach Boys, mainly from that amazing concert they did in '83 at the Washington Monument, where about 500,000 people showed up. And I always like to joke about how, and again, I forget which cabinet post he held, but James Watt was tried to dissuade Reagan from inviting the Beach Boys because they were a bad element. And I remember Johnny Carson heard that, and it turned that into a routine for him. Just, like he's astonished. The Beach Boys are a bad element. It's not the Sex Pistols, for God's sakes.
Right.
But eventually Watt was set straight, and he had to make a public apology to the Beach Boys and to all their fans. And the show went on. So David Beard, I'm sure, could tell us a lot about that as well. So it'll be really good to have him and to talk about the book.
And then that's July 5th, the day after July 4th. Then the following 2 weeks after that, the 12th and 19th, we don't have a guest on, and we've been kind of leaving them open because we've got a lot of new music to play and new stuff to talk about. People have been itching for another Stump the Bash episode, or Beat the Bash, whoever wants to try to take you on in trivia. So that's probably going to happen.
Is this guy right here?
So that's probably going to happen on one or both of those nights, but you never know who could pop up to fill those slots.
This is true.
If need be. So materialissues.com is the website to subscribe to, and we always let you know on a Friday who's coming up on Sunday. So or if you want to play along trivia wise, you know how to do that. So we'll see what goes on with the 12th and 19th. But the 26th, we've got to choose our words wisely as to who's going to be on the show. One of our old friends and celebrating his 30th anniversary of his album She, Mr. Willie Wisely.
Yes, celebrating it with the first ever vinyl release.
Vinyl release, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that's been very cool for vinyl collectors is all these albums from the 90s and the first part of the first decade of the new millennium, where albums only came out on CD. And now, because of the resurgence of vinyl, a lot of these albums are coming out as reissues on vinyl for the first time. Which makes the term reissue seem a little bit inappropriate, but the album is being reissued, and it happens to be in a format where it's not come out before. So we'll be looking forward to the 30th anniversary vinyl reissue of She, and to having Willie Wisely on the program. He's a really good guy. Yeah. I'll never forget seeing a house concert that he put on at his own house. Up in the hills of Hollywood. So he's been living in Minneapolis for a while, I guess, that's where he's from originally, right?
Right. Yeah. He's from.
Yeah. So he's gone back home, and so we'll look forward to speaking with him.
Yeah. Great guy. He did a number of gigs on the Pop Detectives tour that ran from here all the way out to Minneapolis with the Dolmans, the Deadbeat Poets, and the Jelly Bricks, and all that. He hopped on board for a few gigs. So I always appreciated the fact that he did that. But looking forward to talking to Willie on July 26th. After that, August 2nd, we're getting to August already. August 2nd is an open date, but we just booked August 9th. And this will be interesting too. Early on in the 70s, Kim Fowley, doing his Svengali work, put together a band called the Hollywood Stars, glam rock at some of its best. And we're going to have one of those original members, and then off and on members, Mr. Scott Fairs, will be on the show August 9th, talking about some recent music he's got going on, and of course the history with this glam rock band, the Hollywood Stars, out of LA.
I was I was privileged to see their 50th anniversary show.
Wow. Yeah.
At a really small but cool venue in actually in the valley here, only about 10 minutes from my house, Maui Sugar Mill, and it was really great. They still have it. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And
so Scott's going to be on the show. That's August 9th. So after that, everything's kind of wide open, and we fill things up quickly around here. So, join us on Facebook, join the group, subscribe on materialissues.com. We'll let you know what's coming up, and we've got 261 episodes. This episode will be archived at materialissues.com as soon as we hit the end button. So a lot of people watch it on the archive. So
yeah, I mean, and a lot of people weren't necessarily able to hang with us while we sorted the technical issues.
Thank you, Tyler.
Well, Tyler, yes. Well, there's one who did, and we really appreciate it. I mean, I'm so glad that Gary didn't give up. I really am. We could have rescheduled, of course, but this was the week we said he'd be on, and so, very fortunate for all of us.
Worked out great. Yeah, indeed. So everybody, we'll see you next Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eric Chio, Montrose Saloon, right here on Material Issues. David, as always, it's been a gas. Love to Rena. Love to Ches and Audie. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend and enjoy the week coming up. Happy Father's Day. Hope it all went well for everybody who is a father, has a father, wants to be a father. Good night, all.